Good morning. Messo. Simple. It's March 27th, so read the last Friday, is March 26th, 2026, eh? David, Mr. Lynch, Mr. Lynch, can you hear me from here? Because Dave, can't believe it. It's a Friday, once again. It's a Friday. Once again. Here in Naples. Today, I think I should say once again middle sky, as absolute middle, it's an adjective that means significa clearly alternate, quindi orto cloudy, so cloudy, this cat in general, viceversa. And if at the moment weather is mostly cloudy, one of the two things, and middle mostly cloudy, adesso è it's early afternoon 13 and 17 minutes. 55 for Fahrenheit 13 Celsius. This means it's really soft like in this because soft is classified as for the spring events support for SEO is for consider fact chantal and for years June 17 so fact overcome for SEO the words regarding last past summer last past autumn last past winter particular winter last summer in particular at 16 to 40 p.m. in Italy now also for the spring overcome and so all around all the 4 years of seasons all the seasons overcome all the 4 years of the ports so yes, in particular, the spring last Friday, March 20th, in Italy, precision at 10:01 a.m. Yes, whereas absolutely everything about you, some more Chinese supposed to I'm sure. But whereas the things of the same, at the society sometimes are proposed, perché ti riesci to Chinese, is better no graphics, paradox, autonomy, and then the student evaluations for the summer, the spring, summer, the autumn, the winter, in fact, for the summer, so adjective hot for autumn, once again, ci soffre, winter, adjective cold, sono tanti già for season superior. Praticamente, a riguardo di lì, se inizio mi guarda, fin così, effettuata, possono complete, ovviamente, messa magnifico, che entra in pratica, che goes in spring, say that it's last 3 days still cold, in particular last 3-4 days, really cold. I don't feel cold, as you know, but I feel cold less than other people, thanks, I think, and you should know this, for the fact that I always repeat this in winter period, winter reports, not only this year but also all the other years, thanks to a practice I follow, I don't feel cold for the fact that I follow some practice better to practice, particularly which I have some years, which I always start to feel cold, and so also I don't feel cold also these last days, and so for this I don't know for some people, non è think not because the fact feel cold, non è think yes, I don't know si pensa non think lente ti feel cold. However, for me, this period good, and if I say just before, just a matter of repeat it last days it's really good. Instead, but sky, but also at the same time, I don't know if I can say the name so it's good one, so completely, if I can give some famous music. It's a Friday once again, so first of all, say Friday. It's a Friday once again, I don't know, first of all, say Friday. It's a Friday once again, I don't know, first of all, say Friday. I should never do this. Fantastic Electric blue, dark blue and white razor, the 6 razor, the story materials, because also the previous fifth, it was the beautiful red, black and also white, a beautiful red model is what also in fact is because this fifth previous crashed in the week of 16th, 15th Friday, but yes, it should be the week of 16th Friday, and so should be better, and so since that month also using it this new and I also second thing like the fact of the speak about the breakfast really wait one day went over there I don't ci vedo better visit Friday which is stato così think about should you the reason on Friday it should be the week of 16th Friday 16th 15th but 16th but this second because is new ma bonus for us because only for no is it was it my bad at least 30 minutes better shit 30 minutes and through this for the moment in one round because I think it's just for it's new but also for some aspects other aspects and now I showed you better once with wrap just if you don't well so this is a closer shot to notice dark blue for the colors it remembers the fourth because I thought also the fourth was blue and white and if as you can notice here light blue to make you see the difference while this is dark blue and so yes, the fourth for other aspects also remember to me the first one and second story report and if I can show to you the first one and second was fourth I don't have them and so repeat once again it is also and also repeat once again this is a 6 razor lo stare nelle borse in generale ti sembra forti channel con la stessa però che si porta vince si andiamo in conseguenza che hanno sto verso il budget fino a che non c'è si può se non c'è termine musica se mosso se pensa così ora lo si dice per i gat Vinga vedi afro finché a temperatura quantissima e ripeti just before 55 Fahrenheit 13 Celsius at important in questa atmosfera tangibile just before 2 gradi Adesso si cortina sono se cortina in genere se mi ripresentiamo ci usiamo nostro perfetto questa suppose fa che risultati dai pizzi si scala i pizzi assenti open che siete usi between mindel e mostri il cani pazzamante ti mi totally cloudy and so at this point consider times last year that not last 2 days in particular 2 days ago 2 days ago we had pratically so we will consideration most of the day in general consider times last days perhaps last week last week consider according to 34 today in fact consider according consider my sensation I think it's possible most limitata sicuramente perché in dark bleak plus metri bet perhaps it's better to see that we are very because a few moments back I think it's weird it's seriously what happens but as in W sicuramente but as always in W we aren't magicians and wizards sicuramente we'll see and if it's like I'm scheme today via so bad maximum to avete so sì so from the mythical quindi new matte cortine in frase long fase mix frequency in cortine system la web marketing insomma questo Roberti breve questo cortine in particolare la third party adesso only for sono esistono di press cortine questo beautiful grey cortine beautiful painted with branches at the point pass fact the press cortine new things with the method si ridono nei comments come section should be it's the point that the first one perhaps fortuna per una si the comment section non frequency not text regular quella for this shot yeah one sign or one end I think oh yes sì, gli infrarossi saranno usati mixed tolerance. I don't know in fact if not, io bet, cioè bet se lasciate practice the first part of the video which produce a show to you the scatta sia in generale in scazzi come dico window scazzi come rooms sarà persona non adesso da mitico window da mitico window e adesso da mitico window e da mitico room Or, from a brewer's perspective, also on the side practice shot similar to classical shot remote self at PC Lilo Verma to Setuli as should be Verma to Setuli, remember exactly as if in Korea, if not sure the TRSU for the Breus Curtain, bit and beautiful grey curtain with beautiful painted branches up so for the first sustain story of reports, a caro curtain, if and exactly sure the Cara curtain is still Nicola imagination or among other things the major recover of the color curtain is still in yes in the cover of the channel and one day sono diventato a scioglie git questo sì in this shot soliti the fact above di siete quello shot dello sono di ma tomorrow quando dici se che si meglio adesso direi del test picture sentence si è usato per scusare bit più sulle ricordi the beautiful painter we bench is episode in this first system story report and if you say all'interno exactly this and also in this series di tutto mi ricordo sorry ma ti bit special also in this for times e so when is written pitch synthesis but also always better visible for me in its entity quindi si shot si consigli con genere shot la segretaria riuscito in attesa fatto mesi divisi a ottobre e sparto delle porte dette also desi in attesa ma serie del test picture senza portare un solito so fare lo sfrit so repeat once again but also and always better visible for me in its entity in this shot si quanti mitico legendary shot and finally from a mythical keeper a magic 1640 PG 625 also is a big shot si sono ricostruito shot fac filmetto già 24 magari in sfuso parte Michael Hunt in particolare sia Eternal E.T. e Seated parte e magari in sfuso di sicuro upload my first version of a beautiful piece a masterpiece for me ma stringe veramente già track Joyce in Tumo from the PX su tu e also dedicated inizia a tuose di che fatto un Michael Hunt quindi Eternal parte fatta e dedicated per fac che upload it video su e dedicated su tu master badamente parte che si concia March 22 and Eternity 90 even if dead Eternity 9 years and also to Mr. Lynch at in pratica non seguo non già utente sono faccio di pratica Eternal it was easy at party su dedicated sul dem e quindi si dice che board channel for the spent position di PC senza link in video se ne rappresenta caso con il tapper ne farà skin nel link o vendi come si può comment section adesso di 6 shot si sono shot which questo thing you can see the aqua condition the game part aqua condition since sempre second so for the fact since the vedere si sempre sempre il fact che sono light on the display and also the problems but the problem if the main problem is the fact che sono light on the display non di sono aiutato a traffic sit yeah letting the people follow around the process getting it over was on burn my system or so myself also because in fact io poi io le vengo breakfast dates che in genere sono nato per servire ma sembri pensare sempre settimana perché detto poi questa in general for the people all for my not all for my house so kind of stuff so bad like breakfast is see better see in the winter period between December January lessons February lesson was in month and April practically since the spring until next December January same time it's late ma tempo voi in parte se si fa rifoto che c'è insomma zitto questa è una backstage nessun you can believe it I started with 10 merta di che in parte mettere tu si resta si che regoli se insomma ti ci sarà giù ma tu ripeti vedo lì closa si cadia tu sono adesso si metà no ma non riesco si già si fu sure in the winter period adesso si fa di